Cloud. Yay. Aloha and welcome to Wisdom Dialogues with Hope Johnson. Yay. Thank you so much. So happy you're joining. Today, my panelist is Lori, only she doesn't have good audio, so she's just going to be quiet. And I'm sure she'll type anything she wants to type because she's awesome like that. So I'm able to, if you're on with me on Zoom, then you can ask questions and stuff like that. You can type them to me, you can raise your hand. If I happen to see you on the live Facebook, then I'll take those questions as well. So go ahead and feel free to send questions there. I think I have a good way of watching them, but I am way better at watching the one on Zoom. Okay? Yay. So I have some fun questions. I'm just going to get started with some of those. Okay, so here's one. How do we dissolve our ego? Because my ego is real tired of itself, but I know that's just a story. It tells itself. Yes, that's fun. I have set an intention to be in service to my spirit, and I see the illusion, but I still allow myself to get sucked back into the hook. But I do know it's all projection and can see how to stay unhooked at all times. Does anyone know? Someone does. And I guess that someone would be me, and just discovering what is already here, that the ego doesn't really exist. Yay. So this has a lot of fun stuff in it. So first she starts out with, how do we dissolve our ego? Because my ego is real tired of itself. This is a very intelligent way of looking at it, because you are not tired of anything. It's the ego that gets tired of always getting these bad results. See? But at the same time, the ego is built on fear, and that is fear of reality. Fear of reality. Because to the ego, reality, deathless reality, is sudden death. Okay? So that's why the ego is coming up and getting tired, because as the ego gets tired and that's believed in, you tend to be guided by ego ways, ego methods of solving this problem. And, you know, the ego's mantra is seek but do not find. So the ego will take you on all kinds of trips to dissolve itself. Really, that's a very intelligent way of looking at it. I have set an intention to be in service. Okay, so here's the thing about intentions. Intentions have to do with a future thing, okay? And the intentions, they arise by themselves. This doesn't have anything to do with you. This is just something that occurs. It's like a thought. It's just an occurrence, a thought, an intention. And see, if you identify with that kind of thing, if you identify with that, that's more body identification. So it's like the ego's like, oh yeah, go ahead and set an intention, you know. Either you're going to get pride because you followed through in the intention, or you're going to get shame because it didn't quite work out. And that's the way an intention works from the ego's perspective. So what's way more effective than intention is willingness. And willingness is in the present moment only. Willingness is in the present moment. See? And if you're willing to be in service to your spirit, and you're willing to be in service to your spirit, you're just not going to buy into these egoic thoughts that take you into a different identification. It takes you into a modified identification of self. And you know, it's always based on what you perceived. I'm going to take this perception, and now I'm going to make it so that I'm guilty. See? If you're not feeling guilty, you're not going to have a problem with any kind of perception. It's not going to bother you. You're not going to consider yourself being sucked into anything. You don't consider yourself being sucked into anything. So one way to look at this is to see how these erroneous thoughts are getting you to hook yourself just right now. Just right now, right now. You know, it's not like I find myself, let's say I find myself acting out of fear. I find myself acting out of fear. The thing is, it's okay. It's okay. The ego will flare up like, oh my God, I got to get out of this. How do I get back to whatever it is? It's okay. That's how. It really is okay because nothing's happening. That's how you're just immediately unhooked because nothing's happening. There's nothing there. You know, the story is, but for this thing happening in my perception, I would be able to see. But that's it. That's the veil. That's the veil. Right there. Whatever it is that makes it so that there is some kind of problem. Something's wrong. So how to stay unhooked at all times? Well, you don't really want that. See? Anything the ego puts forth as what you want, and how to know that it's an ego want and not a true desire, is that it has something to do with how you should be, which is in this case, how things should be, how people should be. Something's wrong, so it needs to be fixed. You know, the one true desire, and it's the desire that's put in the mind immediately as it's taken as if you separated yourself. The desire that's in the mind, that's put in the mind, that's your desire, that's your true desire, is just to restore your mind to sanity. Getting hooked is part of it. Getting hooked is part of it. Because you're not really hooked. You're actually having a dream. You're dreaming that you're hooked. So it's like watching that, what's trying to tell you, I'm hooked, and have a laugh at it. Because you're not. See? You get the perception that you are. I'm getting the perception that I'm hooked. So glad that I'm actually not. Isn't that fun? And then she said, does anyone know? And she said, someone does. And I guess that someone would be me. Yes, that's right. Discovering what's already here, that the ego doesn't really exist. Nope. It's just a matter of belief. The ego is programmed to put forth fearful thoughts. Thoughts that resonate with a guilty concept. I'm hooked is a guilty concept. Because you're not capable of getting hooked. You're dreaming. If it seems like you're anything, you're dreaming. Most thoughts are dream thoughts. So you demonstrate to yourself that the ego really doesn't exist when you're not taking a thought like that on as if it's about you. I'm hooked, for instance. What would be more truthful is it appears that I'm hooked. I'm getting the perception that I'm hooked. Perceptions don't say anything about you. Perceptions are dream. And everything in the dream, everything that can be perceived in the dream is predicated on the idea that you have to die. Everything perceived. That's why it's such a guilty concept. And for a lot of people, it's not recognized that these concepts are guilty. And in fact, a lot of the times people have a defense to that. Bring up a really big defense to that. Like, I don't get, what are you saying? I do not feel guilt. I feel fear, or I feel excited, or I feel nervous, or I feel frustrated. And here's the thing. None of those kinds of feelings can arise. None of those kinds of feelings can arise without the thought of guilt. Because the thought of guilt is the thought of separation. The thought of, oh, I separated myself. That guilt demands punishment. That's where the fear comes in. The whole world is a projection of this fear of death, which is based on a guilty concept that is not true. That's the thing. That concept isn't true. It's been taken as true, and the mind is so powerful that the mind takes something as true. The mind can make illusions as if it's true. Not a reality as if it's true. Not a reality. It tends to be common to call this reality. But the mind isn't capable of making any reality that denies love. And this kind of love is not the kind of love that's known. It doesn't include death, for one. It doesn't include a concept that things are born to die. It doesn't include cycles of nature where things die and are being born. It's a whole world based on death. That's the outcome. That's the final outcome of everything. That's why it's a false world. It's a make-believe world. It's like a dream. Only it's a dream that doesn't end, that you cannot wake up from until you're willing to deny the dream over and over again. Deny reality to that dream. And that's just in your mind. We'll go over some different ways that this dream life is resolved. How to deny it, how to deny the dream world and accept the real world. We'll go over some of those today. We'll go over some of those different ways so you can see how it's going to be denied, how you can use it to deny the guilty concept upon which it's predicated and accept reality. Okay? Yay, Bob. Bob Shine's here in person. This is so fun.
Yes, thank
Hello,
you very
my
much.
Aww.
So yeah, I got a new computer monitor just now.
Great.
So I'll be back to seeing you on the computer, but here I am. I don't have it set up yet. So.
How wonderful. Thank you for joining.
Yes, thank you.
That's awesome. So I was just talking about different ways we can see through the illusion, different ways it comes up to deny reality, deny truth to the illusion. You know, deny truth to it. One of them is, and this is a really important one, someone seems to be wacky. Someone seems to be wacky, out of their mind, just totally not getting it. That thought is about you, and it says that you are out of your mind. It's bringing forth illusions. It's calling forth illusions that you're confused. Calling forth illusions like that. You're going to feel confused. Yay, aloha, Danielle. You said aloha a while ago. That's fun. It's going to make you feel like you're confused. So immediately when the thought arises that says that person is out of their mind, you can have a laugh at it because it's about you. It's trying to purport that you are out of your mind. If you accept that about them, quote unquote, because they're not really there. If you accept that about them, it's taken as if it's about you, and it brings about results that prove that that's true to you. So what that'll bring about, people don't notice that that's what's bringing it about. That person is out of their mind. And then all of a sudden, you know, you forget about that. You forget about saying that person was out of their mind and believing it. Maybe you didn't even say it. You just thought it. What a complete lunatic. But it goes unnoticed, so it goes unchecked. See? That is making the illusion true. That thought, it's like an offering to you. Would you like to make the illusion true with this thought? Would you like to use this thought to uphold the illusion and attack yourself? Well, yes or no?
It says, don't judge by appearances, judge righteous judgment.
Righteous judgment, yes.
Which is not judging by the appearance.
Yes.
Righteous judgment is the reality of God in Christ and love.
Yes, that's a good point. So it kind of goes along with don't judge a book by its cover. It's like a lot of people don't realize what that could really mean. The cover is basically what you see. It's like a cover. Okay. And the book is divine. You can't see that. You can't see that. Can't see the divinity in this separate thing until you do. Until everyone and everything turns to light in your view. It's really important to admit too. I just posted this on Facebook. You don't know who you are. Me, myself included. Okay? I don't know who I am. Because if I did, I would not be able to have a perception of you over there. This computer right here. A body that apparently eats food and sleeps and takes shits for that matter. It's just, that's what makes it so obvious. I don't know who I am. So it's like, show me who I am. But you're not asking the illusion as such to show you who you are. All the illusion can do is show you who you are not. Okay? And that's how you come to recognize who you are. You come to recognize who you are. For many, including myself, it's a gradual thing. And in that recognition, there's just more peace and calmness and willingness to let things be as they are, and not this feeling of threat, of being threatened. See? In fact, to become real sensitive. So if it seems like you're threatened in some kind of way, very soon you're laughing. Very soon you're laughing about it. You're not taking it on as something. See? Okay, here's another one. Here's another one. I don't get the support I need to do the things I want. I hear that kind of thing often. I don't have the money. I don't have the time. Okay? These things state that you already are not everything. You are not already everything. It's saying you don't have everything and you're not everything. Okay? There isn't anything that you should do that you can't do. And let's say it like this, that can't be done through you because you're not really capable of doing anything. And everything that you have the perception of doing is perfect for you. See, that's another thing that upholds this illusion, this guilty illusion. I have to get it to go the way I want it to go. See? So this kind of denial, this forgiveness kind of denial it's a denial that I even know what I want. It's a denial that I need anything, that I have needs in the world. Sure, there are illusory needs in the world. There are illusory needs in the world. But you are not responsible for meeting them. See? And that's the thing. That's what's putting forth. That's what the ego's putting forth. Another thing the ego's putting forth, that you are responsible for meeting these illusory needs. And as you find yourself and believe yourself to be responsible for meeting these illusory needs, you're upholding this illusion of separation. You're upholding that guilty self-belief, because that guilty self-belief actually needs to be re-believed again and again and again to stay solid. So it starts to get broken apart as you're denying any truth to that. Bob, will you do me a favor and get Roki out of the cage and put him in the house?
Oh, sure.
That would be really rad.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, then we won't have a wild barking dog.
Okay.
Our dog learned how to break out. It's super fun. He loves this girl dog around the corner. He learned how to break out. My husband keeps on reinforcing the fence, and our dog is a big, strong lab, and he's just busting out. So fun. So the idea that you have any needs at all that aren't automatically met, even illusory needs, See? You deny reality to that over and over again, and you know what happens? It builds trust. It builds trust. And it's like, you don't need to decide whether you can trust individual people or not. It's just shown to you that everyone is trustworthy because they're you. And really, it's only lack of trust. It's only lack of trust in what you can say, your source, what some people refer to as your father or God. It's lack of trust that makes it appear as if there's not enough. See? And you can have the perception that, hey, let's go fly to Japan tomorrow, and you can have the perception that the money isn't in your account, but still, it's like, yeah, that sounds fun. Let's see if it occurs. If it occurs, it's meant to be. It would only occur, aloha Kim, it would only occur if it can bring healing, if it's conducive to healing. That's the only way anything is ever going to occur. It doesn't happen. Nothing happens. It just occurs to you because it's conducive. It can facilitate healing. If it doesn't happen, that's because there is no healing to be had there. It's not really because you didn't have the money when you had the perception. It's because you didn't have the money. The cause and effect that you perceive on the surface isn't the real cause and effect. It's really the mind playing out. The cause and effect that you perceive, that's not it. Now, my brother asked me today, because, by the way, everyone, Dylan went home. And those of you who have been following my Dylan story, Dylan went home today. He went on an 11 a.m. flight. I just totally got the pull, whatever it was, to, you know what, it's time for Dylan to go home. And so this morning I sent a note. I said, hey, did you guys book the ticket yet? Because they were going to book it for the 4th of November. Did you guys book the ticket yet? They said, no, we didn't. And the reason they wanted it for the 4th of November is because they would save $200 that way. They would save $200. I go, okay, how about this? Send me what you were going to pay for the ticket, for the November 4th ticket, and then I'll get his ticket so he can fly home today. And they're like, okay. So they sent me the money, and he ended up going home. And there was this sense that, oh my goodness, what if he feels bad? What if he feels bad that he's going home? Because there's a birthday party planned for this Friday. There's a birthday party for him planned. And the thought occurred to me, what if he feels bad that he's going home? And it was just given to me is like, don't give any truth to that at all. Don't give any truth to that thought. What if he feels bad because he's going home? Because the guidance was totally there. The guidance was totally there. There was a questioning. There was a questioning of it, and that's sometimes the hardest thing. Is like receiving the guidance and then going with the guidance, because there's a questioning of it, and the questioning is always a guilty thing. Like, I don't want him to feel like he has a consequence. Because I had the perception of him last night on the phone again for the 4th or 5th night in a row, with his parents crying, just crying. I miss you guys. I really want to come home. I miss you guys so much. And why do I have to wait 3 weeks to come home? And then sleep. I've been sleeping with him too. If you've been following my post, been sleeping in his bed because he didn't want to go to sleep. He was afraid to go to sleep. So I said, okay, how about this? How about I just sleep in your bed every night? And he was like, yes, please. That's way more comfortable for me. And then in the middle of the night, while I'm sleeping in his bed, it's this getting up and going, oh no, I'm so scared. And And so it just occurred to me, I kind of woke up a little bit in sleeping, and it just occurred to me, he's going home in the morning. And then the morning rolls around, and it's like, yeah, that thought is there. And it really felt into it. And it, you know, I could feel that is the good guidance. That is because how it feels, stay, go. It's like, oh yeah, that's it. So when I went into his room, the thought of what if he takes this like it's a consequence. What if he takes it like it's a consequence? And, you know, the feeling like, wow, I really don't want him to think that there's a consequence for anything that he does. Anything that he does, I don't want him to feel like there's a consequence for anything that he does. And it was just shown to me that you don't have to give any truth to that thought. Any of them. Then I just felt the joy of, oh, he's going home. I felt the joy in it. And then I went up to his room to get his suitcase, and he was just waking up, and he peeked at me through his eye, and I said, I'm getting your suitcase. And his eyes got big, and I go, you're going home today. You have a ticket at 11 o'clock. He's like, he jumps out of bed. He goes, I am? And he was so excited. He was so excited to be going home. So he got up, and we start packing his stuff, and we're putting all of his clothes. You know, he's going, I want to get rid of some of my shirts. And I said, okay, well, you look at them, and then I'll fold them. And we got all this stuff in his suitcase. And it was just a wonderful, beautiful send-off. And only one time did he mention the party on Friday. And that was when we were having breakfast at Pele's Kitchen. It's one of his favorite places to eat. And I'm like, hey, I'll take you to breakfast over here at Pele's Kitchen. And it was just one little kind of passing where he said, too bad I'm not going to have my party. And I smiled at him, and he goes, but I'm so glad I'm going home. And I was like, yay, this is perfect.
They have a party there for him?
Oh, yeah. His dad said he's going to arrive at 11:30 p.m. Nevada time tonight. And his dad said he's going to have a big banner and a cake, and they're going to celebrate his birthday right there when he gets home.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. He's going to get more presents and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So that's another example of denying reality to the illusion. It comes in the form of thoughts. And as we deny reality to the illusion, we can sense the reality more. And the reality is this closeness. It's closeness with one another. It's caring for one another, because everyone is ourselves. Yeah. And if that begins to be revealed more and more, that everyone is just ourselves, yay. Yeah. Kim commented, I keep coming back to you. This all seems new yet old. Sometimes I understand your talks. Other times it takes me a while to get it. But I find it fascinating. Oh, I'm so happy. It's such a pleasure to have you on, Kim. I appreciate you. Okay. Goda, yay. Thank you for joining. I have a few questions that came up. Is reality thoughtless? Okay, let's say it this way. Reality does not include any opposing thoughts. No conflicted thoughts. 100% love, 100% eternal life. Creation through us occurs without any kind of blockage, any kind of disruption. Creation occurs to us. Creation is made of thought as well. Isn't that so fun? It just doesn't include a guilty thought. When it doesn't include a guilty thought, it includes no thoughts that deny love. And that's the big thing about denying truth to the illusion. It's because the illusion is denying love. And the only reason the illusion is given the power to deny love is through belief. It's through thinking over and over again as if guilt is justified. Because it's been taken as if guilt is justified, then fear is justified, and death is justified, and that's why we see these things. Conflict gets justified, and that's why we see these things. It's so fun to deny truth to conflict. I love that. I love that. And then on the other hand, not everyone loves that. I learned that lesson this past week. You know, someone wanted me to help them resolve conflict with another person. And I said, well, One thing I'm sure of is there is no conflict. And that person just felt completely dismissed. And it's just kind of like, okay, I take that back then. However that gets expressed. Okay, then, I take that back. How can I help you resolve the conflict? And let's just see how that plays out. I don't have to hold to any kind of concept. I don't have to hold to any kind of, let's just see. Let's just see how that plays out. I don't have to know what to say. Thank goodness. I never have to know what to say. In fact, when I think I have to know what to say, then that's when things get guilty.
So you met with these two parties?
Conflicted. Tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah, isn't that fun? Yeah. So yeah, it's the thing is, but for yourself, in recognizing that there is no conflict, when conflict arises, you can just let it be like entertainment. Really, you could just let it be like entertainment. And it's entertainment that you're making for yourself. It's showing you what kind of conflict the ego has with you. Anytime you perceive conflict, even perceive two people outside of you engaged in conflict. It's fun. What the ego will lead you to do is to project as if they're the ones with the conflict and you don't have it. Or if you find yourself in conflict, to project some kind of guilt, like maybe, what am I doing in this conflict again? Holy shit. Or this person is freaking crazy. That's why I find myself in conflict with them. Or I must be out of my mind even, you know. So that's the way it gets handled, or some kind of trying to analyze the conflict or something like that. There just isn't any, okay? Oh, so back to what I was telling my brother about the, the whole Dylan story and everything like that. My brother was asking me, hey, I just got to know. I got to know for my wife's sake, because she's asking, she thinks that there has to be like something that I need to know, some kind of problem, why you just sent him home so suddenly. There's got to be some kind of problem. What's the problem? And it's like, there is absolutely no problem. If you look for a problem, you'll find a problem. And there might seem to be certain circumstances that arose that led to him going home, but there's no past, there's no future, and there's nothing happening now. There's nothing even happening now. In a dream world, such as the one that we perceive here, in a dream world, all these bodies are drawn together, sort of like drawn on a picture together and then drawn apart for one purpose, and that's for eliminating that guilty concept. So none of the perceived reasons are even true. And that's why there's no problem. Even when I was asking, because I was asking early this morning, communicating with the parents, it was probably like 5 o'clock in the morning or something. When I was asking, we're on text, and I'm asking those questions about the ticket and stuff, my sister-in-law goes, is it that bad? With a crying face. Mm-hmm. And I go, it's not bad at all. He just wants to come home, and I want to facilitate that. It's easy. Nothing's ever wrong. Nothing was wrong in him coming here in the first place. Nothing even happened. It's just that these bodies are drawn together like on a picture. Remember, these bodies aren't even real. There's no space. There's no space. They're drawn together like on a picture for healing, our shared mind. So Dylan being here, showing up as a body in this experience, in this perception, was for healing. And when there's no more, or you could say more healing to be had, plug that in, more healing to be had by him being with his family on a plane, what have you, then that's how it's going to occur to us. That's how it's going to look to us. That's how it's going to look in the dream. None of us are really separate at all. It looks like in the dream that our bodies are separate, because in a dream world, We can only have these perceptions of each other in a limited way. So it's like these bodies are coming and these bodies are going. Bodies coming, bodies going. It's like that, but there's no bodies really. It's a total perceptual reality. Danielle said, no such thing as problems, only preordained solutions when you surrender to the flow. Yeah, baby. Yes, that's it. That's it. That's one way to say it. Definitely. Do thoughts come from source? Okay, so there's two thought systems, okay? There's two thought systems. One is the thought system that's a thought system of, you could say, creation, okay? It's based on love. It has no opposite. In a dream, there's another thought system. In a dream only, there's another thought system, and that's the thought system of the ego, okay? Once the thought system of the ego is taken as if it's a real thought system, you're dreaming. Okay. And in dreaming, that's added, there's added given added truth and added reality to this illusory thought system. Yes, my love, Kim said, so Dylan was there for your healing. Anyone who ever shows up in my perception is there for my healing, not theirs. Not theirs. From their perspective, yes, it's theirs. From my perspective, it's my healing. And that's what's shared. The healing is shared. It's almost like being an example of the healing, being an example of willingness to learn your lesson instead of try to teach a lesson to someone else. Isn't that so fun? Yay. Yay. So there's two thought systems. Yeah. Epic, yeah. The thought system, the thought system of the ego is like it like blinds you to the source. You have to sort of like cloak your eyes in darkness, shroud yourself to believe in the thought system of the ego. You cannot have one or the other. You can't have both. You have to have one or the other. That's why there's a choice. There's a choice between these two thought systems. Okay, so. Yes, and the ego thought system, it can't even appear to exist without the energy of source. So let's put it that way. It is not in any way, shape, or form authorized by source. It's not authorized by source. In fact, source, which you could say is like the father of your mind, like the father of your mind, or the mother, whatever word, it doesn't matter. There's no gender. It's like that supports whatever it is you want to do. But anything that you want to do that has to do with lack of love or denying love, the source does not authorize. You're kind of usurping the creative power that the source gave to you to create reality, basically, to create reality, to make a dream instead. So you're using the power of the source to make a dream, to give that power away to a dream world, okay, to make that appear real. That's why one way of saying it is reclaim your power, reclaim your creative power from these illusions, okay? You explained how feelings are also illusions. Would you say that the feeling of love is a pointer to the truth? Yes, that's it. That's it. You could, and a feeling of hate and a feeling of fear is a symbol that you're following a thought that attacks yourself. That you're just following a thought that attacks yourself. Nothing's gone wrong. It's making an appearance of something has gone wrong. It feels like something has gone wrong. It feels as if something has gone wrong, but nothing has really gone wrong. And when you're recognizing that nothing has gone wrong, it makes it so much easier. It makes it possible to see that this upset feeling is really a pointer. And in that way, it's such a blessing. In that way, it's a total blessing. And if so, are we able to experience truth if we're in a body and experiencing human conditions? Okay, not completely. Not completely. Okay, that one, you could say last step, that last step where you get the experience comes from your willingness to have it. Your willingness to have it. So you become more and more willing to have that as you're denying truth to illusions. That's how you become more and more willing. It's almost like in a way you're preparing your mind for it. You don't have to do anything. There's nothing you can do on the surface. It's not yoga. It's not, eating healthy food. It's not refraining from electronics. There's all these different things people try on the surface, but all it is, it's denying truth to illusions. It's not denying truth to everything that's predicated on death and made up of the beliefs that you're going to die, that dying is even real. Here's one that we can apply directly to dying, okay? Say you have the perception of a person that you really love dying, and you perceive yourself as being super upset, just like beside yourself, like how could this have happened, just beside yourself. In that moment of feeling upset, are you willing to see? Are you willing to see that you're making it all up? It could be a very difficult thing, but are you willing? You don't have to do it, but are you willing? You're not capable of doing it, but are you willing? That's all. Are you willing? Will you let that question arise at least? See, you can get the answer, no, I'm not willing, and that will bring about so much healing. Just to recognize, no, fuck no, I'm not willing. I just want to cry, cry, cry. I wanted that body here. I wanted that body to here. See? The question is, are you willing to deny truth to that illusion? That this feeling of sadness actually has any justification. Can you imagine celebrating the perception of death? Celebrating it? Hooray! It was perfect. It went perfectly. Hooray! I'm not saying to go around and tell people who are apparently suffering over it, because they're having the dream that they're suffering over it too, even though they're really not, but they're having the dream that they're suffering over it. I'm not saying to go up to them and say, hooray! In your own mind, even hooray that this person is arising to me who's apparently suffering. Not in trying to change them or anything, because they're not really suffering. They're just listening very deeply, not trying to articulate anything. Let the guidance come, listening deeply, allowing yourself to be more relaxed. Or if you're not allowing yourself to relax, and just recognizing your reaction to them. How are you reacting? How are they reacting to you when you say something? Their reaction to you is also coming from you. Their reaction to you is coming from you. It's not right or wrong. It's just put out there from your mind to see if you'll use it to take the dream of separation as real, or to deny truth to it. Give yourself another opportunity. What does it mean to guard your heart? Well, I don't know. What does it mean to you? What does it mean to you? It could mean all kinds of different things. It could mean all kinds of different things. It could mean not allowing yourself to love. And not allowing yourself to love is the same as withholding love, that sense of withholding love. Another way it could be taken is guarding your heart against going into this separation. Like, say you feel yourself getting infatuated with a person. And in fact, wow, it really seems like I need this person in my life. And, to the ego, that's mistaken for love. Am I going to let myself go to I need this person, or am I going to not let myself go to I need this person and guard myself? See, the I need this person, it's just a passing thought. It doesn't even need to be identified with. It's just a passing thing. It's like it's like an offering. No need to identify with I really need this person. Another one is missing. That's something I don't get. It's really awesome. I don't have to have that missing thing. You know, missing can be really painful. Apparently. I miss them so much. Oh, I miss them so much. I'm just not the same without them. Just watch that. It'll unravel itself. I watched it, it unraveled itself. Doesn't matter who comes and goes. I'm happy about it. What? Doesn't matter what comes and goes. Happy about it. If there's a sense of I missed that person, if there's a sense of it, immediately it's just checked. It's like checked as in it's laughed at. It's funny. How can I miss a person? I don't know what I need. I don't know who I need. I don't know what I need. No idea. I'm glad I have no idea. That would be a pain in the ass trying to control all of that. I know if Bob showed up right now, I need him. I need you, Bob. I love you.
Okay. I need you too.
Obviously, I need Bob because there he is.
So yeah, with the thing about thought, can everyone hear me?
You
okay?
want to be seen too?
Oh yeah. Okay, well,
There.
yeah,
you can scoot
over.
I can move this back and forth.
Especially since all these lovely friends are on.
Look at
there.
all the lovely friends. Isn't this fun?
Yeah, so in the Bible it talks about take no thought for your life, what you shall eat or drink. Who by taking thought can add to his stature 1 cubit. And it says, my thoughts are not your thoughts, my ways are not your ways. Mm-hmm. So the thing with thought is that whether thoughts are of God is that when we pray, we're always talking, thinking to God. We're always asking God, you know, do this, do that, heal my brother, make the rent. And you're always talking to God as if omniscient God doesn't quite know what you need or what you want. So that's kind of dishonoring God to think that God is stupid, that he needs you to talk to him. The kind of thought that is powerful is when God speaks to you. So they say there's 3 stages of being. The first is that you're a victim. You're a victim of circumstances. And then there's the other one where you think, oh, well, I don't have to be a victim. I can have my intentions and my dreams, and I can manifest my own reality, get what I want in life. I don't have to be a victim. But then the third level of being is you're a servant. You're a servant of God. So you're not out for your own pleasure. You had a spiritual experience. The voice of God spoke to you, or you had a revelation or some kind of mystical transformation that was a seed that was planted in your being, and you feel like, wow, I need to go and discover what this voice said or what this spiritual experience meant. And so then your life is one to become united with this voice, with this presence. And so the prayer to say is, speak, Lord, thy servant heareth. Not talk to God, but open your mind to listen to God. And those are the thoughts, his thoughts, that then will enlighten you and send you on your way in life as a servant, and not as a victim, or not as just going off out for your own ideas, your own doings.
Yes, and letting everything be provided for. Because what you really want is to return to sanity. What you really want, whatever you think you want in the world, it's like symbolic or a distraction to prevent you from knowing that all you want, people see me, all you want is to return to sanity, which is reality. It's your reality. It's the reality that's been created for you, and it's the reality that you create in. Okay? Yay. You want to scoot around here? You can if you want.
Scoot around?
Yeah, you can scoot around, be in the camera if you want.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Why not? Scoot around.
If nobody exists, How can everyone, she puts, quote, everyone, be having a subjective experience? Well, it's just consciousness playing out. And you could say like it's microcosms of consciousness. It's just consciousness playing out. See, who we are is awareness. And then there's this consciousness superimposed over awareness. And we've been seemingly separated into these microcosms of consciousness. Okay? So that's why it seems like everyone's having a subjective experience. All right? Would guarding your heart be denying truth? Oh, yes. And again, you know, that depends on how you're looking at it, because you could say guarding your heart against being attacked. You know, you're attacking it if you believe in thoughts that attack. Basically, it's kind of like attacking the love that you are. So that's kind of like a symbolic way of saying it. So it's not so much in the words, but it's in the way that it's taken. Okay. Is it taken for healing, or is it taken for upholding the illusion? So yeah, you don't have to make that thought right or wrong. Just use it. So can the ego be used in this illusory experience helpful in any way? Definitely not. Definitely not. Remember I said earlier, and I've said many times, and this is quoted from A Course in Miracles, the ego's mantra is seek but do not find. Okay? You know what? I don't see chat open on here. Let's see what happens when I go here and maybe right click. Oh, here, maybe this is how. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. There's no chat anyways. I just wanted to make sure I had that open. So the ego's mantra is seek but do not find. So when the ego becomes helpful to you, like in your mind where the ego is becoming helpful and the ego is going to help you dissolve the ego, it's never going to lead anywhere you want to go. It's just like kind of like going around in a circle. It's a distraction. So no, the ego can never, never, never be helpful. And that's something that goes along and, you know, around in a lot of spiritual circles, like taming the ego, getting the ego to help you to undo the ego. The ego freaking loves that. The ego freaking loves that. And I'll give you an example about getting the ego to undo the ego is where you're like, how am I stuck again? How do I get unstuck? See, that's a question for the ego because you're not actually stuck in the first place. And the ego will go, oh, I'm going to help you to get unstuck. Here's what we can do. And see, it doesn't matter what you do. But when you take what you seem to be doing, what you appear to be doing, as if that's going to help you in some way get back to reality, you're actually upholding the illusion. It's actually not going anywhere. There's a lot of not going anywhere. There's a lot of that. For, you know, maybe millions of years or something, there's not going anywhere. Kim said, yes, I've heard that in all the other teachings. Yes, the ego is very big in the spiritual teaching world. The ego is very big in the spiritual teaching world because for the most part in the spiritual teaching world, they haven't gone to that phase that Bob is talking about where you become a servant, where you're a servant. The popular spiritual world is all about getting this reality to coincide with your desires, okay? Because that's appealing to people, and no, that's no problem at all. It's not a problem. And you know, it doesn't matter in the scope of things that seems to be going on. That seems to be what people are attracted to, or anything. It really doesn't matter. It's just that you get to the point where you're actually fed up with it, and then you're looking beyond that. You're like, wait a minute, I've tried that a million times. This just seems like another rendition of the same thing I tried. It's very similar to trying different diets. Oh, now I got the right one. And you might think you got the right one for like 20 years. In the same way, you might think you got the right spiritual practice for like 50 years. I know people like that. I got the right spiritual practice. If you ever think you got the right spiritual practice, you're just looking in the wrong direction. You're just looking in that you're looking at it through the ego's guidance, under the ego's guidance. There is no correct spiritual practice. There is no correct spiritual practice. It's not in that. It's not in that. It comes to right now. It comes to willingness right now. Some people would say, hope, that's a spiritual practice. It's like, okay, that's cool. You can call that a spiritual practice too. You can call that a spiritual practice too. It's just that there's no rules to it. How you're going to act, how you're going to be, how you're going to perceive yourself, anything like that, because it's all a dream. Because it's only a dream. And you start to see the benefits of denying truth to this illusion. You start to have the perception of those benefits of denying truth, and all the benefits are internal. There's just more peace with things, allowance for how things appear to be playing out. You know, less feeling like I'm hooked, even when I feel like I'm hooked. See? Oh, I feel like I'm hooked. Isn't that a fun perception to have? It's not a problem. See? That's how you know it doesn't matter what arises, you know. It could be something like, you know, fire burning down all your possessions. It could be something like someone that you're really close to and really love having passed away. There's just a peace with it all, a deep peace with it all. And the peace just keeps on getting deeper and deeper as you're denying truth to the illusion. Okay?
The peace of path of understanding.
Yeah.
Because it's the peace of God, of source.
Yeah, it can't really be understood.
And everything we see is just finite form and effect. It's just like ripples on the ocean. And when you go into the depth of the ocean, the ripples don't affect you.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Exactly. So any thoughts can arise. Any expression from you can arise. Even any expression from you can arise. And you can be completely at peace with it. The thought that gets you to try to go back to it and analyze it and see how you could have done it better, it just doesn't have any meaning anymore. Because you could just sink deeper. You could be behind it, so to speak. So hooray, everyone. I've been through all questions that have been given to me so far. I'm totally open to more questions if anyone has them. And we'll see if anything else arises. Yay. I love you. Thank you so much for joining. Oh, I know. Here's a fun one. But we were having conversation yesterday about I'm sorry yesterday. It came up in Wisdom Dialogues in person, and I really like to have something about it recorded here. You know, because a lot of what we learn when we're looking like this is there's really nothing anyone's doing. There's never anything to be sorry for. There's never anything to feel sorry for. There's never anything to apologize for. So I had a friend who had a scenario yesterday where someone was going, I want an apology from you. I want an apology from you. And he was just like, no, I'm not gonna do that. You know, it's like not in alignment with what I believe. And, you know, I'm sure I didn't do anything. I'm not sure what the whole story is. You know, he'd probably say it way better than I am, but I'm kind of making it up. You know, just from my perspective too, it's like, what? You want me to say I'm sorry? I haven't even done anything. And so here's the thing, to a person that really feels like they want an apology from you, and there's this kind of closing off, and you might say that this is like guarding your heart in a way. You can call it guarding your heart in a way, because like, I don't want to say something against my truth, what I know to be true, that there's nothing to be sorry for. And the thing is, these words, they mean nothing at all. Nothing. The words, I'm sorry, it means nothing. But to the person who seems like, who feels as if they really need a sorry, it means everything to them. It means everything. So it's okay. It's okay.
Okay to give in and say you're sorry.
Yes, and the guarding is the only thing that prevents you from expressing like that. from expressing. It's like exactly what the person is saying. Hey, I need this from you. And it's such a little thing. Such a little thing. Unless you make it into a big thing, you can make it into a big thing. Like, oh shit, I can't say I'm sorry to you. That's making it into a big thing. Making it into something. Instead of just relating, you know. I had the same kind of thing arise for me, and probably with the same person he's talking about. Where, you know, she said, you know what? I just feel like there's this pain between us for something that occurred these years ago. Maybe it was like 6-7 years ago, something like that. Something that occurred is something that you said. And, you know, I just really want an apology. And I go, okay, tell me about that. You know, tell me what it is. Tell me what it is that I said. Tell me how you feel. And then when and then I can get into connection with that. And I was like, oh, wow, you know what? I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. And, you know, even though I don't have one inkling that sorry exists in any way, shape, or form, it doesn't mean what you think it means. It may not mean what she thinks it means either. It's just like, I see you, I feel you, I take responsibility for this. I see you, I feel you, I take responsibility. If we had an interaction and you felt some kind of way, I take responsibility for that. And you know why I can take responsibility for it? Because it's okay. Because it's totally okay. We're all learning here. We're all learning from each other. It's not a problem. If you have a perception of me, I get this all the time from friends. They'll be like, Hope, you know what? Yeah, what you said there on Wisdom Dialogues, that was just like way too much for me. It kind of like pissed me off. Like, okay, thank you for letting me know. And if they tell me they need an apology for that, fine. No problem. There's no way I'm going to be able to perceive an upset person unless I'm taking a false belief to be true. And there's no problem with me taking a false belief to be true. That's exactly what's going on here. And when you have the perception that shows you that you're taking a false belief to be true, hooray. Hooray. Because it's for healing, because of what it's for healing. And when there's willingness to see that it's for healing, there's willingness to get your message, get your lesson out of it, then it is actually going to be used for healing. Yay.
So you were talking about how tomorrow you're going to meet with these two people and kind of mediate a conflict. So here in Hawaii, we have Ho'oponopono, which is the kahuna or elder that mediates disputes between people. And so there's the popular Ho'oponopono mantra, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you.
Yes.
But there are new Ho'oponopono Native Hawaiian kahunas that say that you don't need to say, I'm sorry, please forgive me. All you need to say is, I love you and thank you.
I love you and thank you.
Because all that I'm sorry, please forgive me is just giving power to some negative thought form.
Well, here's what I like about it. Here's what I like about it too.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have any kind of argument with that. That's totally cool too. Mm-hmm. What I like about the I'm sorry, please forgive me, it's the same as I made this up. Mm-hmm. To me, that's what it feels like.
I'm sorry, please forgive me for making it up.
For making you like that. Oh. For instance, for making you into that crazy fucker that I see. Mm. You know, I made you into that. I'm sorry, please forgive me. I made you into that. You're not that, of course. You're not anything that I perceive you to be. And especially if I perceive you to be sick, I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Mm. You know, it doesn't have to mean what you think it means, like sorrow, you know. It's like, it's the same as I love you. It's really the same as I love you. But, you know, it really kind of, opens you up to the fact that you're making it up, to the fact that you're making them up that way, that they're not really that way. You're seeing them as an illusion. You're painting a picture of them. And at the same time, they're painting a picture of themselves. And you can either agree with their guilty picture of themselves, or you can acknowledge the truth that I'm not seeing you clearly.
Judging by appearances, not righteous judgment.
Judging a book by its cover. That's right. For the most part, you could say we don't know what righteous judgment is. We can only be told that when we open up to it. And then when you're told what it is, are you listening? Are you listening? Will you or will you still make them guilty? It's just a question. Either way is fine. But when you're in the question, it's going to be shown to you more and more until you see that there's no reason, there's no motivation for making anyone guilty. Danielle said, your knowing and my knowing don't speak love and heart. There's room for all. Yes, that's it. So there's no reason. You know how you know, too? It's like you're trying to teach someone something when they're coming up to you saying, hey, you did this to me, and you're trying to teach someone something, or they're saying, maybe they're telling you about their disease that they think is real. There's nothing to teach about that. If something needs to be taught, it'll just spontaneously come out. Okay? Joy to the angry face monger. I'm laughing with your soul. Thank you, Danielle. I love you. We made this up. The story that I told me about you is all I'm sorry for. Nice, nice, nice. That's a really good way to say it. Let's say that again. The story that I told me about you is all that I'm sorry for. Hooray. That is a really nice way to look at I'm sorry. I had to have been telling myself a story about you. Saw you a certain way, and then that made me express a certain way that got a certain reaction out of you. Isn't that fun? I wanted to see myself as sick, and that's why I have a perception of you sick now. It's mental illness. The mental illness playing out. What if we're all innocent, and what if we remember we already know this? That's a good one, Danielle. I love it. Keep them coming, babe. That's awesome. What if we are all innocent, and what if we remember we already know this? Isn't that awesome? So show them their innocence. I need an apology from you. Oh, okay. It's not like they're asking you to paint their house. I need you to paint my house now because you did all that. I want you to come over and garden for me 6 days a week they're just asking you to say you're sorry. So easy. It's easy unless you're being hoodwinked by the ego. As if this concept of there's no sorries is so real that I'm going to withhold something like that from someone who's saying that they need it. Isn't that fun to find yourself in that kind of situation? If you find yourself in that kind of situation and you're open to learning from that, your relationships are going to change so fast. It's going to be so amazing to just watch the unfolding of how everything is just so sweet. It becomes so sweet. There's most definitely no problem. That's the bottom line is, we think there's a problem and we make it as if there are problems. And that's what keeps the illusion going. It has to be. It has to keep going. They say it's run on emotion. Okay, emotion is also made of thought. It is run on emotion. There's two emotions, love and fear. So if the thought is leading to fear, it's going to feel fearful or some kind of variation of that.
So the negative thought, it's like a minus sign. The negative sign, it's a horizontal sign. So that's the sign that goes from past to future.
Mm-hmm.
But if you transform that with vertical awareness and turn it into a plus sign, the here
Yes.
and now. So that's where you're connected to source, to God. And that wipes out the horizontal sign.
Yes.
And then all you have is just the vertical.
Yes, that is how it is. Yes, it's more like upliftment. When okay, I will choose truth. I will choose truth here. In choosing truth, it's like you're uplifted. You know, in choosing illusion, it's like you go this way, you go sideways, maybe even down. It gets heavy. See, it's like going like this between these different realities. It's like every new emotion is like a new reality, but it's all a fake reality. That's why there's realities, plural. See? And when you're allowing yourself to just be uplifted in whatever it is, it's like the perception gets shifted to a happier, lighter perception. And you even start to see happier, lighter people arising in your perception. And whenever they seem to be heavy, it's like, hooray. It's not like, get out of here. I don't want to see that. It's like, hooray. Show me. See?
You shine your light on the situation.
Shine your light on the situation. Exactly. Exactly.
Because that's all the problem is. It's just an absence of light. What's the problem? Darkness, absence of light. And what is that? Nothing when the light shines. It's just an absence of love, an absence of God, of source. In the presence of God, there can be no problem. It's impossible.
Yeah, so it's like, how do I let more love in through this situation? How do I just allow it to be revealed? And remember, this is really big. This is really big. The healing is only for your own mind. It is not for the other person. So say you see a sick person, you perceive a sick person, your goal is not to make that sickness disappear. And it's in noticing that the sickness is arising from a lack of light in your own mind. So it's like you're just allowing the light to shine brighter in your own mind. You're denying any truth to sickness. Here's a couple things about denying truth to sickness. It's saying that this is the cause of it. Something's contagious. There's another one. Nothing's contagious at all. That doesn't mean, if you find yourself going, oh shit, the people around here have a cold, I'm gonna wear a mask, for instance. Or that person's sick, I'm not gonna go over to their house, for instance. Just admit that there's no contagious. Or be willing to see that there's no contagious. It doesn't mean you have to try to change your actions. You can't. Just be willing to see that there isn't any contagious. I find myself just having no problem around apparently contagious people. Just having absolutely no problem. They'll go, I can't kiss you. I have a cold. And I'm like, I don't believe in contagious. Bring it in. If you want. I understand if you see me with a cold the next week and then feel really guilty about it. Oh, Lori's going to show her. Shine your light. Oh, everyone can't see it, but I can. She has a really cool little poster with a lighthouse that says "Shine your light." There it is. Yay! What's Danielle saying? We are all light. Yes, we are all light. What we're perceiving, that's how we know we're perceiving an error. Because we're seeing forms. We're seeing these forms that seem to be solid. The light seems to be outside of us, like the sun or artificial light or the moon or whatever. It's not outside of us. It seems to be that way. That's how we know we're perceiving in separation. That's how we know we don't know who we are. They just admit you don't know who you are, so you can be shown who you are. When you think you know who you are, then you're not being shown who you are you? Because you already know. Or you think you do anyways. So, anything else?
To have that beginner's mind.
Beginner's mind, yes, over and over and over again. And that's one of the reasons I say, it's not really the kind of practice that you would associate with spiritual practice. It's not really that kind of practice, because it's always this beginner from moment to moment to moment. Of course, the insights that you have, they kind of, you can say they open you up more and more, and there's no going back from that. There's no going back from those insights, but just to be the beginner over and over again, because the ego will take over any kind of spiritual realization that you had very easily. The ego will just take that over. And again, it's not like you've gone backwards in any way, shape, or form. It's just a matter of looking through, penetrating through what the ego is saying is happening now. Nothing's happening. Nothing's changed, really. Lori, she's writing to me now. We are cleaning out our condo in Florida, and Peter took that off the wall from the spare bedroom. I saw it and said, "This is not going to Goodwill. I thought of you right away. This'll light of mine." Yes, I love that song. I sang that song so much when I was a kid too, and now I understand a lot more of what it meant. It was so fun to sing. We always did it with sort of like a skit too. We do it like a skit. We'd have our light right here. I don't know if other people did this too, but we go, "This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine." We'd sing like this. We go, "Hide it under a bushel. Oh no, I'm gonna let it shine. Don't let the devil it out. I'm gonna let it shine." There's some fun letting it shine songs. All right, and when I got Bob Shine sitting next to me too, so that's great. That's great.
Shining away.
Shining like mofos. Okay. Okay, so I got another question here. I wanted to see how your process of bringing awareness to painful or guilty illusions played out. Did you find yourself starting with bringing awareness to the illusions that appeared to have a lighter reactions first? Yes, totally. Yes, I started with something really simple. In fact, I can remember what it is that I started with, and that was my toes gripping. My toes gripping. I just started to put on my attention on how my toes would grip. Whenever I'd be caught up in something, that's how it was, almost like I'm trying to grip to the earth and trying to stay in the known, trying to know what's going on, just gripping, okay? So as I would witness my toes gripping, I'd notice that not only would the toes stop gripping after a few seconds, but whatever thought that had me quote unquote hooked was not relevant anymore. Even if only for a second. It would let go of me for a second. And when it let go of me, the symbolism was my toes would let go of trying to grip to something. See? So it could be as simple as that. It could be as simple as that. You don't have to go for anything that's going to scare the shit out of you. It's like you start with anything real simple. Anything, any kind of upset feeling. Start with that. Start with, if you don't know what illusion it is that needs to be denied truth to, just get the feeling. Just get that feeling. That feeling is an effect of guilt. That feeling, that upset feeling, whether it's a physical sensation even, pain, also. Pain is fear made manifest. Even if it's a physical sensation, just get that feeling, get the sensation of it. Real quickly, I brought this up a lot of times, but I had a painless birth with one of my sons, and, basically that's where I heard pain is fear. That's where I heard it when I was doing hypnobabies. Hypnobabies is a process that you do to have a painless birth. And, that's what they said in it. Pain is fear. I'm like, what? Pain is fear? So, that made me curious. So I started to feel through pain. And what I recognize is it's all sensation being interpreted as if it's pain, but there's actually no pain. The pain is made up, okay? The pain is basically fear. And like I said earlier, fear is the effect of guilt, because guilt demands punishment. So then there's fear of punishment, okay? And the fear of punishment, of course, brings about a perception of pain, but actually there's no pain. And I had that experience firsthand. There is no such thing as pain. I could feel all of the sensations, no problem, but none of them are being interpreted as pain, simply because I'm in the realization that pain is fear. Okay? So I realize there does not have to be an order to healing. Yeah, it doesn't. Yet I find myself being guided to surrender to the healing in this way. I'm guessing that's okay. Absolutely. Absolutely. And, any little bit that you can get, any little bit of willingness that you can give, any little bit of willingness that you can give is going to be used exponentially for healing your mind. Okay. Body survival mechanism. Yes, body survival mechanism. Definitely. And it's like as if the body needs something from the world in order to survive. All of the body support come from the source. It all comes from the source. Why our brain redundantly interprets it. Yes, something's wrong. Something's going wrong. And the funny thing, in childbirth, there's this process, there's an apparent process of this uterus pushing. It's like contracting, it's contracting and relaxing again. And in that, it's like doing this motion where it's pushing a baby out. And when there's the perception of pain, you know what there is? There's clenching up the uterus. Clenching it up. So in the practice, it's just like you'd sense this pain and feel like, ooh, something's birthing. And you actually start to sense it as this contraction, as in they wouldn't even call it a contraction, but it doesn't matter. They wouldn't call it a contraction because of all the negative connotations with it. They call it a birthing wave because it's like, oh, here's a wave of information that's manifesting as pushing out a baby right now. And that's really how any kind of painful situation, how I've approached it ever since then. It's birthing something. It's birthing something new. It's for birthing something new. In the physical realm, that's how it's manifest. It's birthing something new. Maybe it's a new expression of yourself, But, if there's willingness to go through it as it is, it's also healing the mind. It's also healing the mind. Healing the mind of this sense that guilt is justified. And what guilt is justified by is the thought of separation. Thank you so much, my love. I'm not sure how to say your name. It looks like Michaelis or Michaelis. You want to give me a pronunciation? That would be fun. Otherwise, I'll go with Mike. That sounds fun. Incubated babies who've had no human touch push themselves into the needles. Interesting. Very interesting. For sensation and contact. Fun. Okay. Do I have any more questions here? I don't have any more questions here. I'm going to wait a moment just to see if anything else wants to come forward or someone wants to have something addressed. Yay. Hooray, we may be complete. Hooray. Yulia. I got a Yulia hand and a Yulia. I raised my hand. Oh, you're right. Thank you. You raised your hand, but I didn't see it.
I think it's nice to have moments.
Yay. Hello.
Oh, yeah. That's why they occur.
Yeah.
Isn't that great? I hear you, Yulia.
Hey, Hope.
Oh, I only allowed you to talk. Do you want to come on camera too?
Sure. It's less annoying than seeing my name pop up on the black screen.
Oh, okay. Promote to panelist. Yulia is now becoming a panelist.
How do I do this? Oh, I see. Hi.
Yay!
Hi, Bob.
Hi.
You guys are enjoying yourself there, looking good in the yard, usual.
Thank you. We're enjoying paradise.
So many awesome, not new realizations, but something I heard many times before, but there's always a little bit of a layer, when you go like, oh yeah, every conflict that's perceived.
Yes.
A conflict within me.
Isn't that great? It makes it so fun. There's nothing for you to do. There's nothing for you to judge about the people who seem to be in conflict.
I know. And I've started noticing more and more and more of subtle judgment, even just habitual things.
Yay.
It seemed to be not a big deal before.
Uh-huh. Yes. You start to see more and more because you start to sense, you get more sensitive.
Right. I didn't think it was anything. I mean, I didn't think about it. Like, oh, wait a minute. I keep judging all day long.
Yep. That's what it's all about.
I'm not like that. I wouldn't do that.
Right, because you don't want to see
The thoughts. Can you talk today about things like procrastination and anxiety?
Okay,
Like,
give me a little bit of context.
while I get like it's just this tension. You feel tension, you feel anxiety. To me, it usually happens when there is a slowing down of life, you know, like I'm used to constantly being on the road, busy with something.
Mm.
Or sometimes if there is a day where things are not that fast and yet there are things I need to do, but there may be things that I don't like to do so much. I feel like I'm procrastinating and at the same time having anxiety. Plus, I'm having the perception of procrastination all around me with my kids.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Of course.
And it's like sometimes you know all the things you should know about it not being true. And yet this feeling persists. And I think it's been something that persisted for a long time. Not all the time, but intermittently just coming up. And I noticed it's always relieved in the evening because the evening is like the time when you're allowed to be like, you know, to not do anything useful. The idea that I should be doing something useful.
Yeah.
Oh, she's that Youre again.
Yeah. I played that out. I played that out in a big way. I just laid around for months, which it was
That's
always
nice.
not about, like, not the way I would normally be. And I would get the same kind of thing as you, like that procrastination and feeling anxious about it. And so when the laying down came up, it's like, whoa, okay, now I'm using this experience of laying down. There was no motivation to get up at all. It was just like laying down, and not only just laying down, but laying down with my phone and playing Angry Birds on my phone.
Right. And I want to do like binge watch and binge read things.
Yes.
Read and watch.
Yes.
My kids.
So it always comes to, what is this for? What is this for? You can use that. You can use that for looking at these thoughts that come up that say you shouldn't be doing that. Mm-hmm. You don't have a choice in what you do, but it's all being given to you. You could say whatever you perceive yourself doing, that's what's being given to you. You're not doing it. It's being given to you as a perception. So now you could use that right now to undo this guilty self-belief. And the way that it gets undone, number one, we talked about a little bit earlier, just getting the feeling of, I'm procrastinating. Why am I not doing that? Just getting the feeling of anxiety and letting it all be okay. Letting it all be okay. And things get revealed to you that way. When you're willing, it really comes down to willingness. That's why I keep saying it's not really a practice per se, like you would think as a regular practice, because it's willingness in the moment as a thought's arising, going, you shouldn't be doing this. What's your husband going to think? What if he divorces you? He didn't marry a lazy person, but now you're lazy. Whatever is arising like that. And to just let all of those things kind of like wash over you. And it's like, and I could feel it in that 4 month period where I'm laying around that, this is very healing. And when there's healing, when you know there's healing happening through whatever perception.
Oh, look at that Harry Potter.
We have a real connection here. Wow.
There's no such thing as procrastination. If you're using everything for healing, the procrastination is being used for that as well.
That's awesome.
Let's see that. Oh yeah. I don't know how to put a tie on. Oh, I'll help you out with that.
Like Expelliarmus or something.
You don't know how to button a shirt, it looks like too, but but that's part of it. It just looks amazing. Oh, if you look at it, you started on one side, down the second one. See how it goes long right there? He does not wear button-up shirts. We live in Hawaii. Look at the very top. Look at the very top. Yeah, you probably might have to look in the mirror, but it doesn't matter. It looks freaking awesome.
Yeah, it looks really awesome. I love the spiritual teaching videos where you get like a Harry Potter running up in the background or something.
Right. And if you look over the years, it'd be really fun to go back to some earlier years when this guy was smaller. He used to come up all the time and threaten to close the screen that I'm having wisdom dialogues on. Or he'd put a toy up in front of the camera.
Well, that I remember. I was here for the toys.
We've had some fun with this guy. This is Braun, for anyone who doesn't know. This is my 11-year-old son, Braun. And he's awesome.
Otherwise known as Harry Potter.
Yep.
Yep. This Halloween, it's Harry Potter. Yeah, it's a little hot for that. Yeah, maybe it'll be cold on Halloween.
Yeah, but both Hawaii and Florida are too hot for Halloween. I remember those Halloweens when you're in a costume or kids in a costume and everybody's sweating.
Well, we're apparently windward, so we do tend to switch to a cooler, especially at night.
Nice.
Where, I'll find myself in Uggs and like a mohair sweater and stuff.
It's a little colder in the winter.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to switch it to a discussion of weather because it could be fun.
Because you're on procrastination right now.
Right. I was going to get back. Yes, let's do something useful. Talk about procrastination.
We're procrastinating over here. What are we doing?
I noticed another thing about that, like I have a lot of people in mind around me that talk about needing to do things, needing to take action. And I have friends who come to me like, well, that want advice, what do I do? And I kind of want sort of a bit of an esoteric advice. And when I tell them that there's nothing to do with blah, 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 they listen to that and go like, well, but you do things, And it seems like, we go over and over things and I get this idea, well, they're just not getting it. I know that nothing needs to be done. I know that I'm not doing anything and they don't know, right?
Right.
There's another ego take over there or something.
Exactly.
Plus, here's myself supposedly suffering with the anxiety because I am procrastinating.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and when you're led to say those things, it's like you're saying them, but you don't fully believe in them. And that's why it turns into this thing. That's how it turns into this thing with the person. It's not like, oh, okay. Like when I get that kind of reaction from a person, okay, I know it's not fully clear in my mind. I'm saying that, but I'm not fully believing it. There is absolutely no problem with that. Number one, there's no problem with that. Because here's my opportunity to let that sink deeper right now. Am I going to go into, I need to teach this person something, or am I going to get my lesson right now? That's the thing. That's the choice we're making right there. Am I going to try to teach that there's no such thing as doing, or am I going to let myself get the lesson right now? And it'll just be shown to you when there's that willingness.
Yeah, I noticed that those are probably situations where it's better to shut up at some point.
And you can't help that either because it's all thought. It's all thought. But so if you watch, you'll see how the motivation to keep on talking is many times like you have to teach them something, which is motivated by the ego to keep the fact that you don't fully believe that yet hidden and make it seem like it's them who don't get it, who doesn't get it.
That's true. I noticed that a long time ago with other things, when I was into other things and teachings and religions, and when you're very active trying to teach people or spread something, it's because you have deep, profound doubt that you don't even recognize.
Yes, exactly. That's why when I sense any kind of a defense in the other person's reaction, any kind of defense, like, oh, really? Oh, well, what about this or something like that? I'm just kind of like, oh, never mind. There's nothing more for me to say. It's just for me to get the lesson that's coming right now. And it is lesson after lesson after lesson after lesson. We don't have to pretend like we don't need a lesson. We do. We need a lesson because we're perceiving something that's not real. We're perceiving unreality. We're perceiving unreality. We're perceiving that someone even has the capacity to get defensive with us. That they even have the capacity for that. I'm making that up. Right? I love you, Brian. You're so fun.
You got it right.
You wrote somewhere about that laying for months. That sounds so interesting.
What's that, Julia? I didn't catch that.
I remember you wrote somewhere about laying for months. Maybe it's somewhere on your website, maybe in the book.
Oh yeah. That might have been in my book. But it's gonna be in my next book. That's gonna be kind of chronicling with the spiritual insights that were coming up from the time I moved here to Hawaii, a little bit before I moved here to Hawaii, 2010, through just after 2018 when the lava flowed. Yeah, and all the different insights. That's definitely going to be in there. That was definitely a big one. And yeah, I'm excited to write about all the different discoveries that occurred. And one of them was very much around that procrastination and anxiety thing. I felt like I could not allow myself to just chill out. And like you said, especially during daytime hours when people are supposed to be productive. And,
right.
Yeah. And that productivity too, that productivity can be such a distraction because then it's like you don't have to deal with these thoughts because you feel, you feel this feeling of guilt. It's been covered up by this sense of doership, this sense of being productive. So then you don't have to have any of those thoughts. You don't have, to approach them. Oh, Braun, Lori asked, is it strange for you without Dylan? There's your answer, Lori.
Didn't occur to him, right?
It did not occur to him. He's Harry Potter now.
Yeah, he disappeared him and everything.
Made him invisible. Yay. All right, hooray, everyone. I would like to acknowledge, too, my sweet friend Anastasia and her partner's name is Andrea. They took over that clipping of my videos. And they're doing it for me free of charge. They're clipping my videos. They've been making these beautiful posts for me. They've been posting to my Instagram. I don't know if you guys saw it.
They do the Instagram.
They're doing that.
Oh, that's something brand new.
Isn't that so sweet?
Oh.
And they look really good. And, I love the way they're doing it. I know Anastasia's on here now. And Anastasia, I just love the way you're doing it. It feels like it's really coming from the heart. And it's just a heck of a lot better than hiring any service to do it. It's just like really, like, what you want to see. What speaks to you. That's perfect because then you can just put it out there. So on Instagram, it's Hope Johnson Author. Hope Johnson, author, if you want to follow that. They're also posting to, I haven't seen any posts yet, but I'm guessing they might already be posting to my Facebook page called William Wisdom Dialogues with Hope Johnson. It's a page, not the group. I got a shitload of pages. I don't know what I'm doing with them. It's funny. It's funny. but I'll just get inspiration. Okay, put this over here. Put this over here this time. Put this over here this time, I don't know. No rhyme or reason as far as I can see.
Instagram before?
No, I had an Instagram. I had started an Instagram and I was thinking I would do videos for Instagram. But then I did a couple videos and I realized that they can't go anywhere else if they're going to Instagram. I don't know, maybe there's technology for that. So that kind of got shut down, but who knows? It could come back again. Like at the same time as streaming, like streaming live to somewhere. But who knows? Yeah, that's right. Instagram doesn't allow it, but I might be able to use another service. I'm getting kind of technical, not nearly as technical as I see people being. Like when Anastasia and her partner took that thing over, it's like looks like they are like super technical. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. Can't thank you enough.
Wow, well that's good to know. I've been enjoying them.
The clips?
Yeah, the Instagram, it's brand new. I
Oh,
never
you
saw
saw
it.
the Instagram already.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, how
They're
fabulous.
beautiful. And so they select the imagery and everything.
They're doing all of that. They're
Wow.
taking the quote and the quotes that they like and putting it on images and putting it on there.
I gotta find you on Instagram. I didn't know you were on it.
Yeah, I'm totally open to any kind of help anyone would like to donate as far as you know, anything like maybe doing stuff for my blog or anything like that. Very much open. You liked me on Instagram. I see it already.
It's because I like opened it and boom, so there she is right there. I didn't. So do Anastasia and her friend make the posts or?
They're making all the posts.
Wow, nice.
From Wisdom Dialogues Online.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, they're making the clips there's short clips for YouTube going up.
Oh, the short clips.
Yeah, they're doing the short clips.
Is Tiger doing it?
Oh, that's something worthy of reposting.
What's that?
Worthy of reposting, like
Yay.
a visual and.
That's fun. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So for anything else you'd like to look at where my stuff is, hopejohnson.org. Okay, hopejohnson.org. That's where a lot of, you can get on, you can find out how to get on to here and come live with me if you want. You can find links to all my videos. There's clips, there's longer videos. You can get my book from there. You can email me. There's all kinds of fun stuff. So check it out, hopejohnson.org. You can also find out about my beautiful essential oil company, Miracle Botanicals.
So Tiger made your website.
Yes.
So then he's made it, but now you just carry on with it.
And people see stuff like, they're like, oh, it'd be good if it had this. I'm totally open to that kind of stuff. Also, it really helps when you do any kind of financial donation. Yulia, thank you for that. I really appreciate that.
Very welcome.
So sweet. Yeah, anything like that, really helpful. And I'm on every Tuesday in Hawaii time, 3 p.m. to approximately 5 p.m. Sometimes it's shorter, sometimes it's longer. And then I'm also in person Monday down in Wawa.
And those, you can access the recordings of those.
All right. Urba, who's also on today, he is going to post on my website access to the live talks audio. He comes and records those on his iPhone. So thank you so much, Urba. I appreciate you so much. It's so awesome. So hooray, everyone. Until next time, mahalo, aloha, and a hui ho.
Thank you.
Yay.